Hector Lombard taking on Johnny Hendricks. Hector Lombard a minus 150 favorite. Comeback on Hendricks plus 130. At a first glance, my first thought is, can Johnny survive the first 4 minutes? Because against Hector Lombard, you're going to be in for a hellacious beating those first 4 minutes.
Almost everybody
so
is.
athletic, so fast, he may be the best one-round fighter in this weight class, or in the 170, 185. First round, he is a force to be reckoned with. And there have been many men before who cannot deal with the heat that Hector Lombard brings. But then it goes south, and it goes south real fast.
In the second round.
In the second round.
Yeah.
Hendricks has been a tough guy over the years. In the fight against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I think he was just baffled by all of the angles, and the kicks were coming from all over the place. He just didn't seem prepared. He just left the gym. But it's all about Hendricks' mindset. It's just how are we supposed to get into this guy, where his head's at in the game right now? I think this is about as much of a pass type of fight as possible, just because I can't really tell you. If you I forget what the pricing on the total is. Either way, I think I'm staying away from this fight altogether, just because we got Hendricks moving up to 185. Lombard is back at 185, but he was at 170 before, but he's a massive 170-pounder. You're basically flipping a coin. I would be tempted if I was gonna gun to my head bet on somebody here. I would probably be tempted on Hendricks. That he's able to get out of those first 4 minutes and then take over rounds 2 and 3. But all of this being said, Lombard, we have seen him go the distance before when he just comes out and he tries to be a little bit more patient, like
Josh Burkman.
Josh Burkman, or the fight with
Jake Shields.
With Boach, I was going to say.
He lost that Boach fight.
No, I know, but I'm saying that he can be a little bit more patient. The fight can take a little bit longer, and there's no guarantee that he comes out guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, then who knows at that point?
Yeah, when it first got announced, I'm thinking, ooh, I think I like Hector Lombard here. They announced it at 185. It's okay, we've seen Hector Lombard at 185 pounds. We know what we can do at 185 pounds. Johnny Hendricks, we haven't seen this guy at 185. So how is he going to be able to handle that? I don't know. Also, this is a relatively quick turnaround from UFC 207. So the biggest issue with Johnny is that cutting all that weight to 170, no doubt his body's been shutting down.
172.5.
Yeah, that was pretty much his weight class. You know how Rich Franklin used to be the 195-pound guy? Johnny Hendricks is 172.5 king. And he's losing those fights, so he's not exactly the king. But no doubt those weight cuts seem to be taking out a lot on him, and his performance are reflecting that. That Stephen Thompson fight, he's a deer in the headlights. As soon as he sees this spinning stuff, this flashiness, this speed advantage, he's just I don't know what to do. But also a lot of that is he's flat-footed. He had a really bad weight cut. He's had bad weight cuts over the last number of fights. So I think when we look about his last performances, his last number of performances, we keep thinking, oh man, he's not what he used to be. Maybe that is part of the weight cut. Now, how's he going to deal with moving up and taking on a big middleweight? I don't know. But he's not taking on a big middleweight because he's taking on Hector Lombard, a former welterweight. And like you're saying, monstrous welterweight, and he was a monstrous welterweight, but he's something like 5'9". So he's not exactly a big middleweight. Hendricks should be able to deal with this level. Now, where I was thinking, okay, I like Hector just because you got judo black belt in Hector versus the collegiate All-American, NCAA Division I champion guy in Johnny Hendricks. So if grappling negates itself, Hector Lombard's a little better with his hands. He's a little bit crisper. Johnny Hendricks is just a one-punch guy. He lines up that left hand. Maybe it's a right hand, depending on what he wants, but it's one punch. He might throw a jab to try to land you up with the big overhand punch.
And the wrestling probably isn't an option here.
And the wrestling's not an option because where he struggles to take down guys, like in the Kelvin Gastelum fight, Kelvin Gastelum's got good wrestling. You can't take him down. Hector Lombard doesn't go down easy. The only way you can get Hector Lombard down is in the second round because he's completely cooked. You might be able to take him down. But if he paces himself, and I think he does pace himself, then let's take the wrestling off right off completely. Then it's a striking battle. Who do I favor in the striking battle? Hector Lombard. But here's the issue with Hector Lombard. As we talked about, we've seen him at 185 pounds. And it's guys that have good grappling. Likewise, he likes to use his judo and take guys down and pound them, and he's got good hands. But look at his run at 185 pounds. His fight against Tim Boach, he loses it on a split decision because he can't take Boach down. Therefore, it's a very tentative one shot at a time he loses. He loses to Yushin Okami by split decision. Can't take Okami down. And it's a very tentative two guys that are not really strikers. he loses to Okami. And then that last fight against Henderson, well, Henderson is that same mold of a guy that you can't really take down, but it's that he's durable enough to survive that first round. In the second round, Lombard's just fading noticeably right across the board. So Johnny Hendricks has that same prototypical model that he's very hard to take down. You're going to have to probably have a very tepid affair with him over the course of 3. Can he outpoint you? Absolutely. I totally do think he could.
There seems to be so many question marks around all of this fight, though.
So many question marks that pass, like you're saying. However, there's also a very old, familiar saying that Paul Shaughnessy used to say on the show, which is a dogger pass. And in this case, I think dogger pass, if you're going to make a play, seems like the play. And if you're going to give me Johnny Hendricks at plus 130, then ever so slightly, that's where the small money would be.